Good morning mga katribu and welcome to another episode of Business Sense. I am Komfie Manalo. Coffee has been a beloved beverage around the world for centuries. In the Philippines, coffee cultivation and consumption have a rich and flavorful history that date back to the colonial era. Coffee was first introduced to the Philippines in the late 18th century by Spanish colonizer. The first coffee trees were planted in Lipa, Batangas, which eventually became the country's coffee capital. The Philippines is the 40th largest coffee producers in the world, contributing significantly to the global coffee industry. The coffee industry in the Philippines is expected to grow at a CAGR of 3.5% from 2021 to 2025. Today, the Philippines is known for producing high-quality coffee beans, particularly Arabica and Robusta. Projections indicate that the coffee sector, which includes the cultivation, production, and coffee shop businesses, may surpass 200 billion pesos by the end of this decade. To tell us more about the coffee industry in the Philippines, we have today Mr. Rich Watanabe, one of the organizers of the Manila Coffee Festival, which will happen from March 15, 16, and 17 at the prestigious MGBX Convention Hall in Marriott Hotel, Manila in Pasay City. So, good morning, Sir Rich.
Sir, good
And,
morning.
thank you
Good
very
morning,
much for
Coffee.
braving Monday's traffic and visiting us here in our office, in our studio.
Uh, we're happy that you had us in the program, and thank you so much.
Well, first, congratulations for this annual event, the Manila Coffee Festival. So, since we're talking about coffee and the Philippines' contribution to the global coffee production or coffee industry, is the Philippines known for its coffee produce?
Well, that's one of the things why, or reasons why we were putting out the Manila Coffee Festival. Unfortunately, the Philippines is not known to be producing coffee in the world of coffee. And the whole reason behind Manila Coffee Fest is to make that mark in the world coffee map that the Philippines is not only a coffee producer, but is also producing some of the best coffees in the world.
So, the Philippines is not known for its coffee. Is it difficult to cultivate coffee?
No, not necessarily because
Will,
of the difficulty in cultivation, but we're not known because Filipinos are such heavy coffee drinkers that I think we just consume all the coffees that we produce and none of it is left for the world.
Okay. Kasi, di ba, coffee is the second biggest industry in the world next to oil.
Oil.
So if you want
Right.
to plant money, plant coffee. Di ba? So and it's just ironic why some of our farmers are not seeing that potential in coffee cultivation.
Well, not only farmers, but you're right. What we'd like to do is also promote coffee farming, but to people as well as an alternative livelihood for them. You can work in the corporate industry and yet start your own small coffee farm, and then maybe move towards having a full coffee farming career.
Okay. Why is you mentioned that the Philippines is a heavy consumer of coffee. So uh, is that the reason why the coffee production or the coffee industry in itself is important to the Philippines?
Oh yes, it's very important. For one thing, um, it's very ingrained into the social fiber of Filipinos. For example, coffee. You want to get to know someone a little bit better, or you want to start a life with someone. What do you say? You go ask him or her, "Oh, can we have some coffee later?" So that's one. Second, if there's an important meeting, you always want to start the meeting with, "Hey, can we have some coffee?" Yeah, just so everybody feels more comfortable and making those negotiations or discussions a little bit easier. Second, if a loved one passed away, what's the first thing
A
Filipinos
coffee
ask?
party.
Have make sure we have coffee for our guests before anything else. The biscuits and the
Yeah.
food can come in later, But the most important thing that you need to have in order for us to welcome everybody who wants to pay respects is coffee. And then, fourthly, one of the most insulting remark that you can give to any Filipino is, "Hey, you met Comfy. How was the meeting?" I said, you'll say, "Oh, hindi man lang nagpakape." Right? So, because probably it's such a normal and common aspect of our lives that we often
Yeah.
overlook how important the coffee plays a role in the social fiber of Philippines.
Yeah, so mga katribo, there are many or thousands of relationships that have been nurtured because of
With
coffee,
coffee.
and millions actually billions of pesos of
Correct.
transactions have been signed or completed because of coffee. But at least I think the third reason is one of the well, I can't say it's saddest, but let's not let's try to avoid having coffee for reason number three.
Yes,
The coffee
yes,
party and
yes.
liliwanag ang buhay nyo. Yung reunion, di ba? That's
Yes.
the, in fact, di ba, ano nga, sa mga Pilipino is, sometimes we lament that we only we only have a complete reunion.
Right,
Every time it's,
right.
a loved one passed away, and
Right.
then we, of course, we enjoy coffee during those reunions. So, going back to that question. So, what region in the country produces the most coffee, and what is the best coffee? Highland coffee or lowland coffee?
So, currently, the largest producer of coffee in the Philippines is Sultan Kudarat, or Region 12. They're a powerhouse in terms of coffee production. Now, when people ask us, "Oh, what do you think would be the best coffee in the country?" Actually, for that question, it's always a matter of preference, because if you see the Philippines, it's it's a country that traverses a lot of latitude. No, so the northern part of the Philippines is quite cold, and the climate is so different from the southern part of the Philippines, which is almost subtropical. And those changes in climate and changes in soil and changes in the weather patterns from Luzon to Mindanao allows us to have a very diverse and complex flavors of coffee. So if you want or prefer a coffee that is a little bit fruity or a little light, you might want to go for coffees that are in mid-level elevations to low-level elevations, or somewhere in Mindanao. If you want some or prefer coffee that are more full-bodied and has stronger flavors, so you might want to try coffees from, say, the Cordilleras or Batangas, which is home of our very iconic coffee, the Barako
Barako,
coffee.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, speaking of Batangas, because we're from Luzon, right? So, when we talk of coffee, we always think of Batangas, particularly Lipa.
Yes.
But you said that Sultan Kudarat or Region 12 is the powerhouse in coffee production. Why is that? When did Sultan Kudarat or Region 12 overtook Batangas as the main producer of coffee in the country?
Well, because of Batangas' proximity to, I think, the commercial center, which is NCR, no, National Capital Region. Batangas has already diversed its land use from just farming to having industrial areas to having residential areas. So it's grown to more uses than just having coffee. Meanwhile, in Sultan Kudarat, they have the opportunity to have vast tracts of land, still be able to cultivate coffee. So I think it's not really whether the farmers there were growing less, and the farmers on the other side were just growing more coffee. Not necessarily. It's just, I think,
They have
because
bigger land,
yeah,
available
because
arable
of
land.
yeah, because of being close and proximate to Metro Manila. Like Bulacan also grows coffee
Yep.
in Doña Remedios Trinidad.
So can you cultivate coffee anywhere, or does coffee prefer some types of soil or some type of elevation?
Yes, I think theoretically you can grow coffee almost anywhere, and yes, it requires or prefers a particular type of soil, and there's many aspects to it. One would be the pH of the
Mm-hmm.
soil. What you do if you don't have the ideal conditions of the soil, uh, you just simply have a soil test done,
Mm-hmm.
and a soil analysis is generated, and then you condition the soil in order to attain a certain degree of condition where it's conducive for the coffee plant to grow.
Can you mix coffee with other produce, say like in Batangas, they produce coffee there and sugar or sugar cane. Can you say in this season I'll plant coffee and after harvest season I'll plant say another crop, or can you do that, or if you plant coffee, just coffee all the way all throughout the year?
Yeah, thank you for asking, because not only you can do that, but it's actually best if you do that. Because coffee is such an organic plant that it kind of absorbs the environment where you plant it in.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have a lot of fruit-bearing trees and you have a lot of other influences around the tree or the coffee plantation, say you have a creek or you have a waterfall or of these other geographical uh, aspects will influence the kind of flavor the coffee will
Mm,
produce.
okay, that's interesting. So, since the Filipinos are heavy consumers of coffee, what is the average daily coffee consumption of Filipinos
I think Filipinos drink around four cups a day.
a day?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
on the average.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then I think also
Mm-hmm.
in Asia,
Mm-hmm.
in the region, we're the one of the highest spending people on coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, kaya there are
coffee
lots of
shops sprouting
coffee shops sprouting
everywhere.
everywhere,
Right.
both local and foreign brands. But before we have a very interesting topic today about coffee. Like I myself is a heavy coffee drinker. I cannot start my day without having coffee. I'll be erratic if I don't have coffee. You'll be annoyed, you'll be
Irritated.
irritated if I don't have coffee. So if I don't have my coffee fix at the start of the day. So but before we continue our discussion, we will pause for a short break.
All right.
This break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you. Infuse yourself with the knowledge needed to hone your business skills. Business Sense, a show where we engage with entrepreneurs, startups, and MSMEs in meaningful discussions on business growth and current marketing trends. Airs every Monday, 10 a.m., only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube. Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m., only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube. Straight Talk dives deep into pressing issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
And we're back, and you're still watching Business Sense. And still with us is, of course, Mr. Rich Watanabe of the Manila Coffee Festival. Before we took a break, Mr. Rich, uh, discussed the importance of coffee to the Filipinos. That we are such heavy coffee consumption that supply alone,
Yeah.
the supply alone is not enough to meet even the local demand. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the local. So uh, uh, let's delve into that more. Can local producers meet the local coffee demand? So how much is the demand and how much is the supply that we're producing? And what are the challenges? Why is that situation happening? Why can't we meet the local demand and even hopefully export coffee from the Philippines?
Right. So the total consumption, if you put it at 100%,
Mm-hmm.
the production and the cultivation is, or local production is about 20 to 30% of the demand.
Demand
Right. So we have a 80 to 70%
gap.
deficit.
Yeah,
Right?
so that's a lot of opportunities.
And we're sourcing those coffees, well, primarily from other Asian countries who have a surplus.
So which variety of coffee are we producing? Although I've mentioned a few already. And which variety of coffee are very popular in the Philippines? And which variety is the most expensive?
So we are lucky to have a country that can produce almost all the varieties of the coffee. In terms of volume, Robusta plays a very significant portion of our coffee production. If I'm not mistaken, I think maybe about 80% of the country's production is Robusta.
Robusta.
And the others would be Arabica and then Liberica. So um, for for the coffee production to to increase, I think we just really need more coffeepreneurs to get into coffee production. As you mentioned, we've seen so many coffee shops already sprouting around, and that's great. Fantastic that we see a lot of independent coffee shops as well as corporate chains. But I think there's also we would like to see that happening as well in coffee production.
So going back to my question, what's the most expensive variety? And why is it expensive? What's its distinction between the Robusta variety and the and compared to other varieties? What is the distinction in terms of taste, flavor?
Okay, so there's a lot of reasons why a particular coffee may be priced at a certain premium. One would be the taste. The other one would be scarcity. So if it's being produced only in a very low volume and it exhibits very high degree of quality, then the prices would go up. So in the past, Arabica was significantly priced higher than Robusta, but in the past few years, though, we've seen Robusta prices also being very fair and decent in comparison to Arabica. And because we've developed a lot of systems and we've developed a lot of Robusta origins that are already what they call fine Robusta, and these are Robustas that are of very high quality.
So is there, say, Liberica, Robusta, Arabica? Do these varieties have, say, a specific purpose? Say this variety of Liberica is better for this kind of type of coffee, or Robusta is this is just for say instant coffee or whatever.
Okay. It depends, no?
Or
So
making cakes or making or for flavorings.
dessert, yeah.
Yeah, desserts.
So it depends really. Like what we discussed earlier, that the coffee plant absorbs the environment where it's grown in. So it's not necessarily what type of coffee is used for what particular purpose, but it's really what a certain place grows a particular kind of coffee that is good for a purpose.
Purpose.
So say you want to have coffee that you can use for your milk drinks, you know, like latte and flat white and cappuccino. So if you use a very light and subtle flavored coffee, whether Arabica or Robusta, um, it will get overpowered. No? So by the milk. So you might want to prefer using something that's more robust, something more full-bodied and full flavor, in order to have a balance of the milk and the coffee.
So we discussed earlier that the coffee shops are sprouting all over.
Yeah.
So why is that? Why are coffee shops becoming popular in the Philippines, and who's dominating the market, local or foreign? And where are they sourcing their coffee?
So I think because Filipinos is a very healthy coffee culture, that's why there's a huge demand for places like coffee shops and cafes, and now even hotels are getting into like the specialty coffee
yeah.
scene. So they're also coming up with places in these establishments where they serve specialty coffee, third wave coffee, and I think a lot of this growth in the local coffee scene is spurred by Filipinos.
In fact, if you go to coffee shops, you see their students
Spending their whole day.
Spending the whole day. In fact, there are some coffee shops who are already initiating moves to limit the amount of hours or time that the customer can spend on their coffee shop, because
Right.
like I said, there are students who spend almost the whole day
Right.
writing their assignments or doing their homeworks in coffee shops, and of course, meetings are always conducted in coffee shops. So now let's talk about this Manila Coffee Festival. So tell us about this event, this upcoming event, and when did it start, and who are participating in this year's event?
Thank you for asking that. No? So I actually have here a poster of the event. This is the Manila Coffee Festival 2024. We are now on the 6th edition of the Manila Coffee Festival. It's happening on March 15 to 17 at the MGBX Convention Hall, Manila Marriott Hotel, Newport World Resorts in Pasay City. This is just across Terminal 3 of the Naya Airport. So what people will see when they come to the festival is all the iterations of coffee. You have coffee as a beverage, you have coffee in dessert, you have coffee in pastries, and for this edition, we've partnered with the Craft Beers Association of the Philippines, and they're coming out with coffee beers. So it's a surprise. There's several kinds of beer, so I don't know what type of beer they made with the coffee, but the coffees that they use was coffee from Maguindanao, and I think coffee from Sultan Kudrat or Sagada. So yeah, it's a surprise.
Yeah, I think I'm interested in trying them, because I've tried whiskeys and brandy in coffee.
Yes,
there's
yes,
the
yes.
Irish
Yes,
coffee, right?
yes.
So I think I'll try coffee with beer.
Coffee beers.
Or coffee and beer.
Right. So there are several kinds of beers: the stout, the IPA, the pale, and so the Craft Beers Association they took some of the coffee origins, and then they're tricking it out to come up with several kinds of coffee beer.
Yeah, I'll visit your
Yes,
festival.
yes.
I'll see you and then check that coffee beer. So again, how will the MCF or the Manila Coffee Festival promote the domestic coffee production and consumption of local brand, and how will that help the coffee farmers?
So at the Manila Coffee Festival, we have what we call a single origin bar. So a single origin bar is a 20-foot bar of several coffee stations where coffees are done in several different brewing methods. So there's like the semi-automatic espresso, and there's a pour over and a French press, and so all kinds of brewing methods. Plus, there will be about 60 to 70 farmers who will be presenting their coffees and serving it for free to taste for the public for 3 days.
So there you have it, mga katribe. If you like free coffee, you can visit the Manila Coffee Festival from March 15 to 17 at the Marriott Hotel. So, and I hope to see you there. So what else can we expect from the MCF?
So the MCF tagline is coffee, music, and art. So apart from all the iterations of coffee and all the farmers from around the country coming in under one roof, there will also be concerts every day. And there's going to be a art competition using coffee by the Coffee Artists Association of the Philippines. It's going to be fun. A lot of pocket events, a lot of cultural performances, and a lot of other Easter eggs you will find at the Manila Coffee Festival.
So a lot of events are happening.
Yes.
We have music. We'll have. It's really going to be a
It's a
festival.
festival.
It's a festival.
It's a
So there's
festival.
music, there's art, and and of course there will be coffee, lots and lots of coffee and beer.
And beer.
And beer. That's the magic word there, beer. So, sir, so any parting words for our viewers and our katribo? Invite them to the Manila Coffee Festival on March 15 to 17.
So, hello again. I'm Rich Watanabe. I'm the festival director of Manila Coffee Festival 2024. I'd like to invite everyone to come over to MGBX Convention Hall at the Marriott Manila Hotel at Newport World Resorts in Pasay City on March 15 to 17. Doors open at 10 a.m. Come over and enjoy Philippines. Discover Philippines in cups of coffee.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much again for
Thank you so much for
coming
having
here.
us.
And again, I hope to see you on the 15th for the Manila Coffee Festival. So mga katribu, from its humble beginnings in the colonial era to its current status as a major export commodity, coffee has played a significant role in the Philippines' culture and economy. With the continued focus on sustainable and eco-friendly farming practices, as well as the rise of specialty coffee shops, the future of coffee in the Philippines certainly looks bright. Once again, I am Komfie Manalo, and this has been Business Sense.